I'm vengeance.
Welcome back, everybody. This is MARKXCVII, the Super Civil Servants podcast. My name is Greg, the Bat Daddy 52. With me tonight, I have Sarah, my lady kitten. How are you doing?
Oh, it's been a crazy week. It's like been a week of Mondays, but it's cool. It's Friday. Everything's good. I told everybody I work with, I said, don't expect me to do too much today because that's not about happening.
Yeah, it's been an insane week because I normally carry mail, but I supervise on the weekends. Tend to be, so that way the supervisors are gonna have weekends. You know, they alternate weekends off, so they can have some time off. And one of them is on vacation this week, so I've been supervising all week. So it completely changes up my schedule, my sleep schedule, my work schedule, everything. It's been a crazy week, so I'm glad it's almost over. I got tomorrow, and then I'm done.
Oh, yes, bless your heart.
But yeah, and it's always like that, and that's why it's fun to do this on Friday nights. Kind of unwind.
Yes, exactly. Relax. Just hang out with friends and just talk whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. Well, we got a few things to talk about tonight. Let's get some shows out of the way, and then we'll talk a little news. How's that sound? Start with some shows this evening.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do Bad Batch before Loki because we always do Bad Batch first. Let's keep that tradition going. What did you think this week? Bad Batch.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I had a little text back and forth with Katie, and I think the only thing I told her, I was like, when did Bad Batch get so touchy-feely?
Yeah.
It was well, I mean, I've had the feeling of the entire series of it's almost like kind of Hunter and Omega. Hunter's kind of like the dad. Then you have Omega, you know, obviously, and then you have Wrecker, which is like the crazy uncle, and then you have the other guys. You know, they're like the crazy, you know, the other uncles. Which I know Wrecker's kind of like a brother more so than.
Wrecker has a weird relationship with her. It's very, very strange.
It's like I think they're like it's like brother sister. I think
more like friends.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, any kind of authority figure.
But it's just the way that, like, I mean, the way Hunter, especially the way he wanted to go back after Omega and all this kind of stuff. But it was really. Now I did like Cad Bane. I did like seeing him again. I think he got kind of beat down.
I think he held his own. I think in the end he ended up holding his own. I mean, he did. He had a pretty good fight on his hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was awesome, by the way.
But I thought it was great how Omega she conned her way out of that cell. I thought that was pretty.
Yeah,
this poor little.
Saw it coming. There were this episode for me. It was okay. I enjoyed it. There were a few really cool things about this episode, a few things that I'm interested to see where they go forward with it, and a few things that I'm kind of wondering about what the hell just happened type deal. Let's talk about real quick, Omega. You kind of figure out her purpose in this.
Well, you kind of figure something out in the end of last episode. So you figure, okay, you know there's something special about her.
Right.
So they alluded to, or at least I thought they alluded to what that purpose was at the end of last episode. And it wasn't until this one that they just basically blurted it out.
Yeah. Well, we've always like predicted she has maybe force sensitive. She has some kind of precognitive powers. Like there's some kind of power she has, but it's really not that at all, right? It's just her bloodline, which is understandable.
Her DNA. I mean, that's basically. But don't you think it kind of retcons something a little bit though? Because wasn't Django supposedly the only one that was, had the genetic code for the clones? Or that's.
Well, they explained it in this one. They said that there's Django, and then there was
Boba.
There was Boba, which was Alpha, I guess, and they called it at first, and they changed it to started calling it Boba, and then her. Right. So I guess maybe they passed it on through those two, through Boba and her. I'm not sure. See, this is why we need Nathan or Katie on here.
Because, right? Katie, she was not happy about this episode.
Really? Oh, okay. I mean, I didn't mind it.
I think that was the issue about the fact of having Omega and having the like the pure genetic code, because she was unaltered. So it was. So apparently, it makes it sound like Boba might have been somewhat altered. Not fully, but it made it sound like, she was the one that was completely unaltered. I don't know. I only saw it one time, so
yeah, or maybe Jango just has a badass DNA, and he's just a badass. I'm not sure. But what was funny was whenever at the end, and we're kind of jump around here at the end, whenever she does get back with a Bad Batch, and there's like, you've got to tell her, and we know at this point what they're looking for, like who's looking for her and why now, or have an idea at least. But we don't know if the Bad Batch does, and what they explain to her is, you're very important and bad people want you. And that's it. Like, that's all they say to her.
That's how adults really communicate with kids.
I mean, don't you know that? Like, come on. We've known that, right? She has to have known that. For some reason, somebody's after me. So through logic, I'm very important and bad people are after me. So I saw it and I was like, they didn't tell her anything. Like, anything at all.
Yeah, exactly. It was just kind of like, okay, this is what it is. But and I don't know, it's like I kind of had the same reaction to I can't remember the Camino's name, but the one that was protective of Omega, and when the prime minister or the minister or whatnot said, we're going to get her, extract what we needed, and then terminate her, and she was like, I had the same reaction. I was just like, oh my. No. So that was why it was kind of interesting towards the end too, when she talked to Shannon, she said, I don't care what you do. She's like, I'll pay you, but as long as Omega is not in the hands of the prime minister, I'm good with it.
Which is funny because we discovered in this episode that both those bounty hunters were hired by two different people in the same, two different.
Well, honestly, the way that Fennec Shan was kind of acting, I didn't really think that she was hired by a bad entity. You know what I mean? It's like not somebody that really wanted her for dubious means.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what they want to make you think, right?
I know, but I don't know.
Palpatine fooled everybody for years. Like, so. Who knows?
I don't know, but that was just like kind of a feeling, because I was like, I don't know. I mean, I felt like a Kaminoan. Kaminoan, yeah. Like a Kaminoan had hired her, but it wasn't until I think when I saw the reaction of the one, she was like, oh, I said she hired her. She hired her so she could stay away from the prime minister or the prime minister, because you started figuring out by the end of last episode. But I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
But I was just waiting for Hunter to give just give me a hug. It's just like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it is getting a little touchy-feely. I get that. I mean, I guess it's the first time they've actually been separated, so I guess the stakes are more real now. Maybe it makes it feel more, I don't know. But I did notice that whenever she was captured by Cad Bane, she was in the cell and they'd taken everything from her. They had taken her communicator and her weapon and everything. You never saw the weapon again. And she didn't leave his ship with the weapon. So I'm interested to see if next episode you just see it on her arm. Yes, I doubt they'll make that mistake, because I pinpointed that and I'm not very, I don't know. I don't usually see things like that. So they'll probably end up figuring out some way. Maybe she's lost it forever. Who knows?
What about poor Crosshair? That fella, Crosshair, he just can't win for nothing.
No,
he is like busted up.
I'm telling you, man, it's a trope. Every Star Wars major villain, their face gets messed up and they have to wear some kind of mask. So I guarantee you,
like Crosshair.
Yeah.
But you notice it's like on this part. So I wonder if that. Well, because it looks like the bandage part was like right across here.
I mean, he was all bandaged up.
Yeah, I mean, he was busted.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny because they had like just a bandage, like it was across his forehead. I'm thinking, maybe not. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
Did you notice? And I was gonna say, just make a joke about this because I know it's not true. But whenever she's down in the cloning area where she sees the bodies and the tubes and everything, and one of them busts and falls down on her, I was like, oh, look, it's Snoke.
I know, right?
So I was like, they figure out a way to pencil in the origin of Snoke right there. So we already know he was a clone of Palpatine. So There it was.
Exactly. Yeah, that was kind of, and then he even finished, and she was kind of like, ew. And then you see when
Yeah.
she got up, she was kind of like, ew.
Yeah. So you don't
So
think she's a bad guy,
I think
bad
she's
girl?
just hired just for who she was hired for. And I think she was probably given instructions to just get her. So it wasn't really, I mean, a bounty hunter, they just get it out for the bounty. Now, it sounded like with Bane, it didn't matter if she was dead or alive.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like to me because, because the first question was, is she alive?
Star Wars has a history of, bounty hunters turning good. What is it? Han Solo, Mandalorian, all these people, they were all not necessarily bounty hunters, but all in for the money.
Yeah. I mean,
Doing
absolutely.
jobs, doing whatever
Because,
they pay for.
he was going to get a premium for bringing her in alive. So,
Which
but
he's my favorite bounty hunter. I love Cad Bane. He's just a badass. And they did such a great job. I like the fight. They did a great job with the fight scene between those two, and I love how they get so distracted that they forget about Omega completely.
oh, and he falls off, but then he has like
Mhm.
the little ankle
He's a
rockets,
badass.
ankle
Yeah,
boosters.
he wasn't worried at all when he fell off.
He
Yeah,
was
he's a
whatever.
badass. But
That's hilarious.
yeah, but I really did. I'd be interested to see what Katie's dislikes about this were. I mean, I know, like I said, she's got way more knowledge than I do about this, but it'd be interesting to see what her reaction to was or what her reaction to it was. Because you said she didn't like it at all, or she was mad about it.
Well, she
Not mad
texted
about it.
me, and yes, Katie, I'm going to use your little text here just to kind of give some retrospect. She didn't like how they were phrased for her being a first-gen clone. She said that was
Okay.
kind of a mess and really contradicts Clone Wars.
Okay. Well, we don't have to talk too much more about her text because I don't want to put her business out there. But
I mean,
that is
that's what I'm
interesting.
saying. I mean, it was like the
Yeah.
first, kind of we were talking about. I mean, it was just like, discussion we had. So that was like the gist of it. So
Yeah.
I think that would probably be an interesting, because even she put in the group chat, she was like, I'm pissed. I'm like, what do you mean? What is this?
Well, it is
That's
an
why I was like,
interesting question. Yeah. I mean, how does she have the first gene? And I guess maybe that's why she noticed right away that Rex, that's how they can go back and explain. She noticed right away that Rex was first gen.
yeah.
So, okay. I guess if you're going to write that in there to fix that problem, I don't know. But I guess they're not doing it just to fix that problem. Like I said, they're
But
way
that's what I'm
smarter than I
saying.
am.
I
I'm sure they
mean,
have a big plan.
if you're just thinking about the films and Clone Wars, the only thing really, really know of is, like Attack of the Clones. I mean, you see, that's where you see Django, where, he's like the clone, the one they're cloning from. And then, like I said, the only one you really see other is Boba.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, then you have no idea. Omega, it's almost like she's just a character that's just been like kind of created and thrown in there and saying, oh, yeah, by the way, she was back here, in the wings. You didn't see her because she wasn't a part of the action. But, yeah, she's like one of the, unaltered, pure first gen. And I'm like, okay, so how old are these clones?
It makes sense. Yeah. So does she not age? Is that what they're saying? Was she born? Was
That's
she
what I'm saying. I
from
don't
back
know
then?
because if she's like first gen, I mean, why is she like, oh God, how old do you think she is? Does it say? She's like 12, 13? Older?
Yeah, I would guess somewhere in there.
I mean, I know she's not a teenager.
Get,
She's probably like a preteen, I would think.
Yeah. If she's a teenager, young teenager,
Not
13
unless she
there.
aged differently. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my thing too, because I'm like, well, if she's first gen, let me try to do the math on how many other ones they've had, and like, do they age that quick to the point of, or mature to the point of, okay, we're going to be, once you get to this point, okay, now we're going to mature normally in real time.
Well, it makes you wonder too, why couldn't they just use any first generation clone's DNA and get a better sample? Because I understand the process is that it gets weaker the more they use it, and this and that.
I guess it all depends on how pure the first, how that pure that DNA is, because it may not be the complete. Was it genome? I'm getting into stuff I don't really know. Is it like the complete DNA sequence, or do they kind of pick and choose what they wanted?
Makes sense. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about cloning.
I don't either.
It makes total sense to me.
I mean, I just know if you're, cloning something, and then, if you have a, DNA sequence, I'm sure at that point you can, like I said, pick and choose what you want. And plus, with these other clones, they have put the inhibitor chips. and probably had some type of. And it's interesting because it seems like each clone has some sort of. I mean, even Rex. I mean, he even still had like the command. Wasn't like your typical run of the mill soldier. And I know with the Bad Batch, I know with them, they kind of have their own characteristics. But it seems like some clones have their own unique characteristics. Right. I know it's weird to say a clone is unique, but
no, yeah, they all, you can identify them differently. It's like twins have, especially if you're around them a lot, you can know the difference between the two. I'm interested to see, because Rex even said in the episodes before that not many were able to resist, meaning in my mind, meaning that there are more clone troopers that resisted Order 66. And it'd be interesting if you get to see like them come together one day for something.
Maybe it could have been like more of the first or second gen clones.
Not sure.
Then maybe, because, further down the line, how it may not be as pure, and then maybe they're not as strong.
Well, and I could just be reading into something there. Just, that's my own headcanon with him saying that not many could, I don't understand why you would say not many could if there weren't more that,
exactly.
But they may never dive down that path. It may just be a throwaway line that I'm reading into.
It'll be interesting.
Well, I definitely expect we're going to see Rex a lot more, or not a lot more, but a few more. I mean, a couple more episodes, maybe the last 2 episodes of the season. I'm not sure. Because I'm still of the belief that it's going to be Crosshair down to the end, and I don't even know if they'll turn him back. To be honest,
I do kind of agree with Katie in one aspect where you're starting to add more characters into a storyline that you feel like that's already been established. You're starting to put more. Now you're starting to add more details, so it might be a little more. But then again, I'm sure she's gone more toward the books, but I can just take it face value for like the. Films and series that we watched. So I think that might be interesting where, it's like, okay, well, I've known it like this. So now you're going to add this. So are we retconning or are we adding? What are we doing here?
Right. Well, I want to know if there's a finality to the story. Like, is this a 1-season thing? Is there an end to this story at the end of the season? Does Bad Batch end this part? Do they get killed? Like, or are we looking at something that's going to last throughout and if it lasts through, like they continue, where the hell have they been?
I know eventually they're going to have to
where have they been? Yeah. So it just, I don't know. I mean, if Rex was in the original trilogy, then why weren't any of these guys? Is that all I'm saying? If they survive, so that's what I'm wondering, is if there's going to be some kind of end to this story.
Or like you said, I think I was talking about this on Star Wars Alliance. It was like, okay, so you have all this going on, and say on this planet, now you have all this stuff going on this planet. So maybe that's what it is. You're just kind of separating it where you're focusing on this one instead of that. So maybe that's where they're taking the story. So all this other stuff is going on. It's kind of like how the way Marvel does. It's like you got Avengers on Earth, but then you have, Guardians are out in another little galaxy doing their own little thing, but it's still the same time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But why does Boba got a sister? What are you doing, man?
I know, right? Where you at?
Yeah, where you at?
Ain't your phone charged?
Yeah. Well, he's not in the room anymore, but yeah. I don't know. Like this show is
it's an interesting series. I mean,
it's yet to really catch me and like make me say I love this series, but it's also it's Star Wars. It's not terrible. It's just it's not something that I'm gonna rave to everybody and tell them they got to see. And if I didn't see it, it doesn't seem like it would matter that much, because it doesn't seem like this is anything that progresses any kind of storyline.
Not like Rebels.
You said like Rebels?
I said not like Rebels.
Not like Rebels. Okay.
Rebels is what you have to see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I definitely need to see that. But yeah, I mean, that's about it for me with Star Wars, with Bad Batch.
Well, I mean, I just think they're building a little bit more towards the story. The main storyline, the main arc.
Still though, isn't it like 8 episodes in? It's halfway through, right?
Well, it's just like, it's, I think up until maybe, last episode, it really didn't really have much to talk about.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, all right, we got character development. All right, where's the story development? All right. I
Yeah.
mean, we know who these guys are. You know, we're just like, are you putting all the pieces together? I mean, when are we actually going to see something that kind of comes together that gels to where it really goes into a story?
Yeah.
Because, you know, here you thought it might be Crosshair. And at some point, you're hopefully he'll come in there, but he's just kind of sprinkled into it now that they've split off.
Well, it's now you see that she's got 3 different people after her for 3 different reasons. Basically, you know, she's got 2 different bounty hunters after her, hired by 2 different people of the same group, and you know, a Crosshair who's running another mission to go get her. I guess his is more after the Bad Batch, though.
Yeah, he's more like you know, the order. You know, basically, you know, going to fruition with that because it's like, you know, if any clone didn't, you know, execute the order, then they should be executed themselves because they're not following orders. So,
yeah,
I guess he has more of his, I guess his military, you know, like his orders. You know, they always say, you know, good soldiers follow orders.
Well, he's being brainwashed right now, so I guess they're trying to kind of portray.
I'm thinking at some point they're going to get him and get that chip out of his head. What do you think?
I think that's the goal. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I don't think he makes it through the season. I think he's the bad guy throughout the whole season, and he doesn't make it through the season, to be honest with you. So maybe that's what breaks up the Bad Batch, and that's how they decide to. I don't know. See.
I don't know. All we can do is just watch and see.
Yeah. Like I said, hadn't really grabbed me yet, but it's Star Wars. I'm gonna keep watching it. You know, I'm enjoying it. It's just, you know, it's not the best so far. But,
yeah, it's true. I feel it's kind of like filler, but I mean, like I said, at least it's Star Wars and it's something to see. So
right. Well, let's talk about Loki, because Nathan, who's in the chat room but not going on the show, is saying Loki was just okay this week. So let's talk about Loki, because I'm really enjoying the show.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah?
I love it.
Yeah. Give me your thoughts though.
I mean, it's Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, I couldn't. This was the reason, and I've said this multiple times. This is the reason it took me 3 times to watch Infinity War with dry eyes. I mean, because that's how upset I was over Loki.
Yeah.
But this episode, I mean, it was. I'm not really digging the Lady Loki though. I'm not really digging her.
She works for me. I mean, it's not a character that I'm in love with, but she does a good job playing the character. I mean, like, it's believable for me. You know, I don't have a problem with it.
I don't know. Maybe it's just hard for me to like imagine another Loki. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like,
well, they're 2 totally different people.
Well, yeah, I get that. But I guess it's just the idea of, because you're used to, you know, the Loki we know, Loki of Asgard. So then I'm like, well, how are you Loki in your world? You know, because you didn't really. Which I know they were talking about, you know, different iterations of them because of different, I guess, timelines and all this kind of stuff. But I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird for me.
Well, I had a friend ask me the other day who hadn't watched it yet, and he's watched it since then. He asked me, you know, he's seen online something about people complaining about Loki being gender fluid. And I was like, really, Loki being gender fluid? And he asked me what I thought about that. And I was like, well, watch the first 2 episodes, then ask me that question again. Because when you watch that, I'm assuming what people are saying, because a different Loki in a different timeline is a different sex, makes Loki gender fluid. Is that what they're?
Well, do you remember the discussion they had on the train when they were talking about love?
I do.
Because she basically asked Loki, do you have a lady or do you have a guy?
Yeah, and he did say a little bit of both.
And he did a little bit of both. So maybe that's what I'm thinking it might be alluding to. But I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe. I just heard it before this episode came out, was the only reason I was wondering. So
yeah, because Brian was actually asking about, I don't know if it's something he saw on Reddit. And I'm like, well, that's about the only thing. Because, I mean, I don't think it would really matter. Because if you have different iterations, I mean, that's just for people. You know, it's not really going to flow. So I'm thinking that's the only thing that may have. But that's just. I'm not sure.
But I mean, as far as the characters go, I don't mind the female Loki. What was her name? Sylvie. Sylvie. Yeah, I don't mind her. The actress doesn't bother me. I want to learn more about it, and I'm glad that we got an episode of just these two because you get a lot of development between these two. I like her explaining her powers. I like Loki kind of opening up to her.
I love that power she has, though. I'm like, I didn't learn that. I want to learn that one.
Well,
how do you teach yourself?
It makes me wonder because Loki's stressing the point of you taught yourself that, and now he knows how it works. So I wonder if Loki's going to teach himself that.
Who knows?
Or I wonder if what she told him is not true.
I was just excited to see Loki using some of his powers, though.
It was fun.
I was like, oh, yes, there he is.
They had some badass fight scenes, too. Both of them can kick ass.
Now, the thing about maybe the last 10 minutes, last 5-10 minutes of the episode, I looked at Ryan, I'm like, this looks like a video game. This looks like a video game that he may play because it's just the fact of them running around and things falling and people in the way.
Oh yeah, when they were trying to get to the Ark, which by the way, it's funny that they described it as the Ark and it's a totally different world and planet. So I mean, I guess Ark could mean I don't know. Anyway, it just seemed weird. I was like, they call it the Ark. Yeah, the ending really surprised me because I did not see that coming.
No, now it's like. And she walks off. She's just like, shit on it. And she just walks off. Like, the hell am I supposed to do now?
Yeah, and as a viewer that something has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess the only thing I could think of is now he's told Mobius that, is it Mobius? Yeah, Mobius.
Mm-hmm.
That they hide in catastrophes or apocalypses. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So maybe they'll find him at the last second.
That's what I'm thinking too, because I'm like, but I like the subtle humor in this because it was, because Loki, bless his heart, he has been put on his ass so many times. It's hilarious. Just like they went to that lady's house and she came as husband, she's like, oh, and she popped him right there. She said, he has never said anything nice like that to me. So I know you are playing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice to see both their powers, and it was pretty cool. They're both kind of showing off a little bit and showing what they can do. I do like.
Again, I guess it shows them their Loki-ness.
Yeah.
So
mischievous.
And she wakes up and he's like, just singing, having him so good. She's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't really understand. I mean, I guess that seemed a little less Loki than I'm used to. I guess because that was a little careless. Like I thought, like when he was doing this, like it was a plan. Like maybe he wasn't drunk and he was doing this but it wasn't. He just fucked up. And it just seemed not very Loki. I mean, I know Loki loses all the time, but he's usually got things planned out pretty well.
Yeah, tis true. Tis true. I mean, I don't. But then again, I think he might have. I think when he saw in like the very first episode, when he saw what's not for his timeline, but for like the Loki from Avenger timeline, when he saw his neck get snapped, he's just like, okay, maybe I do have a little bit of mortality that I did not realize.
Yeah.
So maybe it's one of those where, and then I think another thing that was really big in this episode is when they're walking and basically Sylvie says, like the way that when she took over the minds of that TVA, was she like a Minuteman? Is that what they call themselves?
Yeah.
Saying it's like, for hundreds, memory from 100 years ago. And he's like, what? She's like, yeah, basically everyone that works at the TVA is a variant.
And they don't know. You hear Loki say that one time and then they never touch on it again. So it'll be
I'm like, that's a big thing. I mean, that's because Morbius made it sound like they were like created or born into it.
He said that specifically. Yeah, that they were created for their position. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in essence they were, but maybe not or either he didn't know in the way they were or didn't tell Loki in the way they were. I don't know.
So does that make Sylvie or Silva or Sylvie? Sylvie, does that make her a good guy?
I still can't understand her end game. I guess it's just, even if they do talk to the what do they call it, the time folks or whatever. Whenever they talk to them, time lizards, space lizards. whenever they do talk to them, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, because it's like they're there kind of to get everything back in, one, was it the sacred timeline? So I'm like, what are
Yeah,
you trying to
that's what
create
there's. Well,
chaos
that's what you're
again?
being told. That's what you're being told. We don't know if any of that's true. Now that we know that this whole TVA thing is kind of a hoax, you got to suspect everybody. You don't know if any of that's true.
Why does this feel like a storyline from Umbrella Academy?
It feels very Umbrella Academy-ish to me. I was going to
Go
say
ahead.
that the other day. I was like, man, they took a page out of it. Not saying they copied or anything, but it feels
It's
very
just very
Umbrella Academy.
similar, very
Yes,
similar. Because
very,
it's
very
like
similar.
you go through life and it's like, okay, this is what it is, but then you find out it's not what you thought it was.
Right, and it's dealing with timelines and thing. It's just different worlds. Like the setting, other than it
Mm-hmm.
being like the spacey looking stuff, it feels
Mm-hmm.
kind of Umbrella Academy. So I felt the same thing, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to say it because it
I'll
sounds kind
say
of.
it. I'll say
There
it.
you go. So, all right, cool. Well, I'm glad somebody else agrees with me, but I agree with you. Actually, you brought that point up. I agree with you. Oh, dang it! I had something about Loki that I was about to say. Going through.
I just want to I just want to know when Thor's going to be mentioned because Thor's got to be mentioned at some point.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, technically, you've already seen Thor a couple of times. Memories.
Yeah, true.
You know.
But I mean, as far as does she have a Thor in her timeline?
Oh, you mean whenever she's talking? Okay. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping maybe this next episode maybe we'll kind of give a little bit more of her backstory
Yeah.
because we just see her as this shadowy variant, and now we finally, Loki finally talks to her, and she's saying, well, this is years and years and years planning, and it's like, okay, what's your end game?
Mhm.
What's your point? Unless I totally missed it.
She didn't put that out there, and that was one thing that I was really, really looking forward to finding out. I don't know if you're going to discover that until the very end. To be honest with you, that's going to be a key point right there. I mean, I think Loki not knowing is what keeps him in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But then again, I don't think she would do because Loki's point is like, yeah, I would go and the timekeeper. She's like, I'd totally overthrow them and I'd rule everything. And she's like, that's not really. I don't think that's really what she wants to do.
Well, I know whatever ends up happening, what Nathan was saying the other day about this leading into Multiverse of Madness, and that makes total sense. So I'm sure that whatever happens is going to be messed up at the end of this.
Yeah, probably
series,
so because it's just that little train's just heading right to that station.
Yeah, I don't expect a happy ending at the end of this series.
No.
It's going to be interesting to see if we get Loki back in the MCU after this. Can he return? Like after this, can he return to his timeline? Like, will there be two Lokis? Does he how does that work? I'm not going to try to get involved in time travel thinking right now.
I mean, would they take him and put him back in the place where he left?
Who's they? Who's they? By the end of this, you may not know. It could.
Well, I still have a big problem with the whole fact of TVA. With like the Avengers going back in time. They're like, oh yeah, we planned it. Timekeepers, that was meant to be. Bullshit. Really?
Well, that's why
that's just kind of weird.
That's why it seems kind of hokey. And that's what Loki was saying to Mobius whenever they were having that discussion. And that discussion was a lot about like religion. He was just like, it's real because it's what I believe.
Yeah.
And that's, when somebody that you just got to accept somebody at that, when they say that it's real because it's what I believe. Okay, then it's real, and realistically, he had a good back and forth with him because he said the same thing when Loki explains his life. It sounds very fake too, but Loki knows it's real. So I don't know.
But then think about all the different timelines. It's like you have this one timeline, but you have all these different things going on, all these universes, all these. That's a lot. It's almost like if you kind of think of like the idea of infinity.
That's got to be like a 6-figure job, easy. I mean,
I think it might be more than a 6-figure job
because you got to be working hard for that one.
Yeah, you got to be paying attention on that one.
If that's all you ever do, though, then what's your life about? Like, you never have fun. Do you eat? Do you sleep? Like, is that all you
on
ever
vacation?
Do? Yeah, seriously. Do you have assistant timekeepers who come in, substitute timekeepers?
I don't know. Do you go to the bathroom? I mean, what's going on?
I hope we're going to figure this out. All these questions to be answered.
I want to see these timekeepers. I want to know where they are because there's something about that one chick, the one that was like the judge or whomever. Can't remember. The one that showed up. There's something more to that chick.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I
I
want
don't
those
think we're
6.
ever gonna see. I don't think we're ever gonna see lizards. I think you're gonna find out that that's all a story and a hoax. To be honest with you, I think. I mean, I think that you're going to see
Or
people.
maybe they were at some point, but they're not there anymore.
Maybe, yeah,
Kind of like
maybe,
legend, or like a myth. It starts.
yeah.
Some parts may start out true, but then it just kind of evolves into like this massive story. So
Well, what's more interesting to me, I think, well, not more interesting, but interesting to me as well, is how they're making all these variants believe that what they believe. Like, what do they do to brainwash them?
Somebody's got to have some pull in there. Maybe it's
Hmm.
another Loki.
So, because they think they have free will while they're in there, but obviously they don't.
Well, and that was a question about free will, because if it's a timeline and if it's already, predestined that you're going to do this, is there such thing as free will?
Hmm.
Because to me, it doesn't sound like it.
This
Sounds
is
like
so
everything's
confusing.
predestined.
Yeah, it's so confusing.
That's what happens when you talk about time and time travel and
Yes,
timelines. It's like,
yes, yes.
it's like, what
Yeah,
rule are we going to play with today?
exactly. Um, I liked in this episode, like I said, getting to see Loki and I don't remember why I keep forgetting her name.
Sylvie.
Sylvie, yeah, kicking ass. They're both badasses fighting.
Lord, she was, yeah. I'm like,
I still think Loki could take her though. To be honest with you,
well, he did a couple of times.
yeah,
He was, because especially when he had his knives, and I was like, oh hell, here we go.
yeah,
That's what got you killed. But anyways, so
yeah. Loki with daggers is dangerous.
yes, exactly. He was just like
Yeah.
real, just smooth, because I mean, even though but she had that badass sword though.
Hmm.
I was like,
Oh, she's a badass. That's for sure. Did you notice that her? I don't know if this happened during the show and I missed it. Her crown, like one of the horns, is missing. Like
I
it
think
got cut
I
off.
think it's been like that. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, that kind of sucks.
It looks weird.
So it makes me wonder, what did this chick go through? She had to
Oh,
go into some bad shit to have that happen.
did you notice that she said she was with a postman too?
Yeah.
Saying, yeah. Just saying, good call, good call. Which I wonder how that works. Was that a joke she was saying, or did she just travel back through time to meet this guy?
I don't know.
How does that work?
I
We'll
don't
dive in
know.
that one. Let's have a show about that. MCU time travel
Yeah.
dating reality show.
Oh my gosh. Well, we know what Steve Rogers did. He went back and finished up that one
Look, man,
timeline.
exactly. We've already got it
He's
set up.
like, I'm here for that dance. I'm like, dude, you've been thinking about a dance for a long time, hadn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I'm trying to think what else about Loki. Oh, we didn't see any of the TVA or movies. This entire episode was about Loki and Sylvie, right? Did I say it right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Pretty much, because it started out, they went through the oh gosh, what was it? The little time gate or little doorway they have.
which
And
is
they went
badass.
into the
Mhm.
yeah. Which apparently, if you get flown out of fly out of a train and you fall, it like the little um, remote like crumbles into pieces.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so because I mean that's the only thing we saw was just the I guess the Minutemen, where they kicked their ass down the hallway, and then you saw the one lady, and then that's when they fell through the
The
other
doorway.
doorway, and then it was just on from there. It was on a freaking planet that was about to get, a moon that was about to get hit by a planet or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
planet
thinking
about to
that
run
was
into the moon. It was weird. People were living on the moon, and the planet was going to run into the moon. It did seem kind of weird, but I guess okay, it happens
like,
there. Those sticks they use to, I don't know what the word is when they hit somebody with one of those sticks and they kind of just disappear, fade away, disappear. It would suck if you were in a fight and you were in that fight specifically, and there's like 12 guys, and she does that to like 6 of those guys, and 6 of them she just kicks and knocks out and walks away. It's like, oh, I couldn't have been one of those 6 guys, Kind of great. So I'm assuming that completely erases you. Like we don't get an explanation. We just know it's bad.
Because like the first time you saw it was like the very first episode with that one dude, and it was just like when it was like gone. You're like,
they don't mess around with it either.
No, they don't. So, if you don't have a ticket, damn it, you're gone.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, I mean, Loki's my favorite MCU show so far.
Well, that was the one I looked forward to so much. I heard all these other ones. I was like, Loki, yes, because it was just so. I'm just curious to see what they were going to do with the story because I'm
Yeah.
like, it's Loki because he died.
Yeah, I agree. That it was probably the one I looked forward to the most. I was looking forward to Falcon and Winter Soldier. Not that I was disappointed with it, but I like Loki better, which I expected to like Loki more than Falcon and Winter Soldier. So it's working out so far. My daughter just watched God, what was the first one with Scarlet Witch? Was it
Oh, WandaVision?
WandaVision? Yeah, my darling just watched that, and she was like, "Do I need to watch all the movies beforehand to understand this?" I said, "Well." I said
It would help.
to get a
but
complete understanding, yes. But no, I said you can watch from Age of Ultron on and get an understanding. I was like, or you can just watch it and then just watch the MCU from here on out. And that's kind of what they're going for, is people to be able to jump in, even though most everybody's already into MCU. Getting new people to jump in, younger kids to jump into a new storyline, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's the thing about Loki, because it's almost like it's something totally different. It's almost like if you watch the first episode, it kind of gives you a synopsis of where you need to be to kind of understand what's going on. Now, granted, it doesn't really, it just kind of, it's like a Cliff Notes type deal. But I think with Loki, that's probably something that you could watch and just watch. I mean, even if you didn't know what was going on in the MCU.
Well, it's cool because they've made it where in the MCU, it's like
you can jump in anytime.
Well, but like in the actual universe, the stuff that happened at the beginning of the universe, like the very early days, Iron Man, Avengers, like that's like stuff in history books kids are reading in this universe now. Like they're learning about that in school, and some have experienced some of this stuff in school. It's crazy. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool. They
built
that's
the thing you don't realize, because it's like what, a 10, 11-year period
in real life. Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about really, because what really is the timeline in the films
as far as years go?
I don't think I've ever really thought about that.
I don't know,
because it kind of goes back.
To be truly honest with you, I don't know. It could be in line with real time, but I don't think. No,
it just seems like from the time from like Iron Man, when you first meet Tony Stark, when he first comes up with his, has his suit, to the time of, when you get to like Age of Ultron, or if you get to, like the later movies, it's like you feel like so much time has passed because of the way everything, like especially his suits have evolved. I mean, he goes from like just literally an iron suit to like, okay, it's like in my suitcase, or it's in my watch, it's wherever.
Yeah. So, well, he's a little salt and pepper in the last one too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I think there's a little bit of time.
Yeah. If you go on YouTube, you can look up the fan-made Iron Man 4 previews with him, and they've got him with a white beard and white hair. It's so funny. Stuff's pretty good.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, Loki's fun. I'm interested to see where they go, especially, like I said, they leave you on this, spoilers, this huge cliffhanger of they have no way off this planet, it's about to be destroyed. And I'm assuming they're literally seconds away from being destroyed.
Yeah, because I think the other thing is like basically just like split, and it's about
it's falling. Yeah. And it's so funny too, the way it ended, where they were running to that ship and the ship got hit by debris. I don't know why that never would have crossed my mind. I was trying to think. I was like, what would have kept this ship from taking off?
Oh, how about getting destroyed?
Yeah, but I guess getting destroyed before it ever takes off. That
might be a kicker on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the only way I thought it would have been destroyed was if it didn't take off in time, and like it couldn't clear the area or whatever. But I just didn't think of debris falling and hitting it and destroying it. I guess they didn't either.
I don't know, but that'd be one hell of a apocalypse to deal with, because man, I'm telling you, I'm just like, just let me get hit by a rock or something, because I'm telling you that my anxiety would have killed me.
I think any apocalypse where you have to watch it coming, like watch it happening, is probably pretty gut wrenching.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. It's like when they popped up in Pompeii. Oh, you're gonna die, dude, for real?
Yeah.
They're just like, what is wrong
one
with
thing? One thing I noticed in this show, though, is whenever Loki looks through the file in a few episodes back, and he's looking through the files on Asgard, and it says no, it's like species terminated, entire species terminated. Mm-hmm. And then later, and which it wasn't, because someone got away in the ship, mm-hmm. And then later on, it talks about the few that survived, and I was like, why does the file say nobody survived, but and later they recognize there were ones that survived. It was weird. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe they just didn't go back and maybe just thought the planet itself, or Asgard, not Asgard itself, was destroyed.
Yeah,
so
possibly.
maybe it was referred to that. I don't know. I don't know.
Very possibly, yeah. But yeah, once again, Loki's rocking out pretty good so far. How many episodes of Loki is there? 8, 6? There don't have any left.
No, there's not. It's like 6 or 8. I'm not absolutely sure because we're already in what, episode 4?
This was 4. No, this is 3 this week.
3, episode 3.
Yeah. So,
it might be 6.
I think 6 is right. Yeah.
That sucks. They got to get on it.
It does. It does, because I'm enjoying this one.
I know. I'm really liking this one too.
Well, anything else you got to say about it?
I'm just ready for next week. Like Brian says, damn it, why'd you have to get me started on now? I'm going to wait for Wednesdays.
Yeah, there's not a lot of shows I'm watching weekly where at the end of it, I'm like, oh man, I'm so ready to see what happens next. But this is one of them. It's really got me hooked. So.
Yeah, I know. Because I mean, first of all, he wanted to, wait until it was over. I said, dude, I can't wait and binge this one. This is one you got to watch every week. I just got to. I have to. I have to.
Oh yeah.
Plus, it makes your week a little bit better.
Yeah. The middle of the week thing is kind of weird. I still watch it on Friday because I don't know why. It just seems like the show day for me to watch new shows.
And that's what's funny about the Bad Batch, because I can never remember when it gets released, so I always watch it on Fridays.
Yeah, well, it gets released on Fridays.
Oh, it does. Okay.
I think. That's when I watch it. I think it gets released Fridays.
Because I was thinking like Thursdays or Fridays or something like that. So.
Well, I think you can catch. Some people catch it late Thursday night. I don't know though, but of the two shows, obviously, I'm way more excited for Loki.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Love Star Wars. As a matter of fact, Squirrel here. I watched Rise of Skywalker the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And?
Still don't like it. But there were some cool things about it. I mean, it definitely has its cool points to it.
But there's still some things you just can't get past.
I just can't get past certain things, especially with Palpatine and everything. I just can't get past it. The nostalgic moments are great in that movie, but I just can't do it.
Build that bridge, can you?
I don't think I'll go back to it. And the funny thing about it is I know that I was falling asleep a couple nights ago, and I was just flipping through stuff to watch, and I remember for some reason I wanted to see like the final scene where like all the ships come together and save at the end. I was like, I want to watch like that last 10 minutes, but I turned it on and kind of fast forwarded to that point, and I fell asleep. so then the next morning I was off, and it was on. Do you want to watch this again, whatever? And I was like, you know what? Wife took the kid to the dentist. I got nothing to do. I hit play. So
there you go.
Wouldn't say 2 hours wasted. Lesson learned.
You just want to make absolutely sure that the points that you made were still
valid.
Good to them. Yeah.
Well, because there's many times you can go back and do a rewatch of a movie and feel differently about it. Maybe whenever I was watching the first, before, I just wasn't getting what I expected, but not really. I just really think that they kind of messed it up a little bit, in my opinion. I mean, but it's Star Wars. I love Star Wars. They're going to recover. They have recovered. They haven't done some great stuff since then, so I'm not worried about that. But,
absolutely.
Yeah. So that was my scroll right there. I'll try this Skywalker again. Probably won't be watching it ever again.
Well, yeah.
But
each to their own. You never know. One day it might come on. You'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to try this one more time, and then be like, no.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about a little bit of news and some fun stuff here. Shang-Chi trailer comes out. This is the 4th of the Marvel shows that we were expecting, correct?
I believe so.
Yes.
Oh, don't me every line.
So what you're going to do here is you're going to watch two people who know absolutely nothing about Shang-Chi watch the trailer and react to it, because I know I don't know anything about this. I'm going to watch it because it looks cool. It's Marvel. Of course, I'm going to watch it and give it a chance. If I don't like it, then I know that I watched it and I didn't like it. But it looks. Did you say you hadn't watched the whole thing yet?
I think I saw like the little teaser, but I don't think I've seen the whole one.
Okay, I watched it earlier. I usually try to save them for this, but I watched it earlier. So let me share it here. we'll watch it and then let's get a few thoughts on it. Hang on one second. This one right here. Oh wait, dang it! I always do this every single time. I forget to share it with the audio. All right, there we go. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Throughout my life, the 10 rings gave our family power. If you want them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family.
So when you say you know absolutely nothing about this, you mean absolutely nothing?
Yes, absolutely nothing.
Okay. I'm the same way. Just making sure. Okay. I mean, it looks good. Like,
they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried.
It looks like it's going to be a modernized kung fu movie.
I know,
I don't want to say kung fu movie. The action looks awesome. Okay, say that.
Like an Iron Fist, or kind of a.
He's just a criminal who murders people.
Well, the best part about going into this not knowing anything is I have so many questions that I guess a lot of them are going to be answered when I see it. I know a lot of them answered beforehand from people I know.
I thought I could change my name.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure Marvel Alliance, they're going to have to
yeah
school us on this one.
Like, I would have to pretty much shut everything off and not know what some of this stuff is. But it's going to be interesting to see the story. The rings look awesome.
Yeah, that looks pretty.
Giant lion. Not really sure about that, but I've seen weirder.
At least it's not a zombie tiger. Whoa, what is that?
Is that what you wanted?
Looked like an underwater dragon.
That's what I was thinking.
So, once again, don't know anything about it.
Okay,
but that would be pretty cool.
I'm so Clay's gonna kill me for saying this, but they have kind of like a Mortal Kombat type feel to it.
A little bit, yeah.
Because that last scene, I felt like it was more like
it felt like the Wolverine.
Well, not necessarily that, but it was oh shit! Now I can't even think of the characters. Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what that part right there is about. It's definitely some kind of a legal underground street fighting. Like I said, I don't know anything about this. It's going to be fun walking into something completely new for me. And
I'm going to do a little cheating because I'm going to look at a little Wikipedia because I'm not going to go into like completely blind. But it does say that Shang-Chi is also known as Master of Kung Fu and Brother Hand.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll look into a little bit of it. But
like I said, I mean, I was like, was it kind of like an Iron Fist-esque type deal? Because you have, like these rings, that are going to have all these powers. And I'm saying it's exactly like Iron Fist because Lord mercy. But this one looks a little more into it. But yeah, I think it's going to be a cool show. But this is not really like, if it was the comic book, this wouldn't be a comic book that I would probably gravitate towards.
Yeah.
So I think, having it visually, I think that'll kind of pull me in a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's definitely been my issue is I've just never been pulled to this comic. I mean, obviously the story's been there. People know about it, and it's going to be more well-known now, which is great. I just don't know anything about it.
Well, and that's the thing about it, because when it was released, I'm just like, what? Who? But I mean, that just kind of shows, I don't know everything.
Well, from what I understand, this is something to do with this is with the Mandarin, the character that was in Iron Man 2. This is more or less connected to his story. So, and I'm sure that there's way more to it than that. But once again, not really my realm. I don't really know anything about this. I'm just going in for the fun. It's MCU. Give me some awesome visual stuff to look at. Give me some awesome fighting scenes and a good storyline, because they've done it before. They've done it quite a few times before. I'm sure they're going to do it again. And,
yeah, I think it's going to be something that either you know what it is or you don't. Even in either or, I think it's still going to pull you into where you're like, oh, you have that interest of, or that fact, just wanting to know what this is all about. So I mean,
Right.
usually when you have anything martial arts like that too, I mean that pulls in a lot of people.
Well, and that's the
I wanna
exact
see
reason.
yeah.
Well, that's the exact reason that I like Mortal Kombat. And it's not like I love Mortal Kombat, but I enjoyed it because it's exactly what I wanted to see, was great fight scenes. And I obviously want to see more storyline in this than Mortal Kombat, but I'm not going into it with the same expectations. So far with the Marvel shows, none of them have been disappointing to me. I've just Loki's the only one that I really, really love, or really, really, really enjoy.
Yeah, that's the one when it was like announced, you're just like,
yeah,
yes.
It's the only one that I've rewatched episodes on. Let's put it that way. Like I've already rewatched. I've watched 1 and 2 twice, which I know is like bragging or anything. I'm sure people watch them with that, but I usually don't rewatch an episode. I've watched 1 and 2 twice, and I'd probably watch them again because it's.
I've seen the first one. Yeah. I've seen the first one twice because I saw it, and then Brian rewatched it, and then we saw that one, and then the second episode.
Yeah.
Hey Clay, we were just talking about Mortal Kombat.
What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you guys as soon as I just got done recording with Joe. Old man needed to go to bed, so I was like, "All right, see you later." Hey, you're 24 young. That's where you're at right now. But no, you guys talking about the Shang-Chi trailer?
Yes, drop some knowledge on me about this, man, because I don't know.
We're total Shang-Chi virgins, so.
Yeah.
So Shang-Chi, I will be completely honest with you. I've never dove into the character. Okay. The main reason is because not a whole lot of people have really made staple improvements on the character, as far as like, hey, we need to revamp this character for today. There has been plenty of attempts. Nothing has really been set in stone. There is a current series going on right now that is called Shang-Chi. I don't know if it's versus the Marvel Universe or something in the Marvel Universe. The first issue, he was teaming up with Spider-Man. The second issue, he was going up against Captain America for some reason. I didn't get the chance to read it, or I don't know if it's even out yet. But it's being written by Jean Luen Yang, which he is a phenomenal writer. If you haven't had the chance, go read his Superman comic.
Okay.
It's about I can't remember if an Asian actor, or not actor, character gets the powers of Superman and becomes the Superman of China. Cool. Really cool premise. So go check that out. But Shang-Chi has always been a book that the only time I ever see him is in his original title, Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. And it's these very cheesy 60s and 70s covers where I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to read that.
Okay.
So seeing what we are getting out of the MCU, though, I'm like, God damn, I need to know more about this character.
Right. That's basically what I was saying. Is MCU, I want to know the story, and they got a pretty good track record. So I want to ask you, though, because this is how little I know about Shang-Chi. Is that the name of the character?
What? Shang-Chi?
That's the name of the character. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a story in Spider-Man. There was a moment where Spider-Man had lost his powers, including his spider sense, and Shang-Chi taught him the way of the spider. And that's how, for a while, Spider-Man was fighting, was through Kung Fu. So I kind of hope, I know that his spider sense has just been shown in this last movie, Far From Home. But I kind of hope that they have an interaction to kind of teach Spider-Man to fight. Just because, I mean, for me personally, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, they made it a point in the first movie. If you actually watch Spider-Man fight, he doesn't necessarily fight. He just uses
bobs and weaves.
He bobs, weaves, uses his opponent's attacks against him, and uses his surroundings. He doesn't necessarily fight. So I think that would be kind of cool if Shang-Chi taught him how to use Kung Fu. And I'm sorry, every single time I hear the word Kung Fu, I always think of The Matrix. I know Kung Fu.
Yeah. I feel weird saying Kung Fu. Like, I don't know why. It just feels weird.
But I'm super excited about the movie. I'm glad that we're getting a real Mandarin and not the one from Iron Man 3.
That's what I was mentioning that to Sarah a minute ago. I didn't know. I knew this had something to do with Mandarin. So that's
he is the one. He is the one with the 10 rings.
Okay.
But also the little surprise that we got at the end of this trailer. Did you see the trailer, Greg? Because I feel like you were questioning.
We just watched it. Yeah.
Okay. So Abomination being.
That's what I was wondering who that was. Is that Abomination?
That's Abomination from the original Hulk movie.
Okay.
The Hulk movie with Edward Norton. I was kind of upset because he had a new design to be more like the comics. But Chris did say, hey, maybe it's not a new design. Maybe it's just a more evolved Abomination, because he was growing still at the end of that Hulk movie. So maybe he has just evolved into what he should have been looking like in the first place. He has the fins on the side of his ears, the giant fin on his back and spine. Maybe, and he was actually fighting Wong from Doctor Strange. So that was pretty crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see what is it, like an underground fight club?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
It'd be interesting to see. Like I said, that's one of the best things about this for me, not knowing a lot about it or anything about it really, is going in. I'm going to learn a whole lot of new stuff, and it's what I've been wanting from Marvel, is a new story. So I'm a little more excited about this, seeing the previews. I'm hopefully going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll beat Loki out, but I haven't seen it yet. Like I said, and Loki could go downhill for all I know.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah,
I didn't like this week's episode all that much. I mean, it had one small little snippet, but that was basically it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the snippet?
The snippet is Loki finding out that the TVA people are all variants. Like that is something that the audience needed to know. But then everything else throughout the episode was kind of just like meh. So.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I can say I don't think it was necessarily the strongest episode, but I'm just enjoying the series. So far,
I think it was just like a relationship development between Sylvie and Loki, because at some point she's gonna have to trust him at some point.
Yeah,
and I think that's what probably this episode was about. But then Loki I just love seeing Loki doing his little number and just drinking or whatever.
So there's a theory that the moment Sylvie wakes up, from that moment all the way to the end of the episode, is actually a dream.
Don't.
And Loki is just tricking her to think that, so that
Damn
way.
It, Clay.
Yeah, I know.
Why can't I ever think of stuff?
What is this?
Why can't I ever think of stuff like that? Like I was telling Sarah before, I was like,
so
I don't know what they're
obvious.
gonna do. Like the only thing I can think of is TVA comes in at the last second and saves them.
That's
well, and the thing about it too is like I was saying, is the last few moments of that episode. I swear to God, it played out like a video game, because the way they were running, like you run down this way, shit falls. You run down this way, shit falls. You run down, and then finally you get to, your ends wherever
your
you're supposed
destination.
To go.
Yeah.
And then the shit blows up.
Yeah.
I'm like, it just felt like a video game. So,
but also, and I know like there's proof that Loki has used telekinesis before, but we've never really seen it on a grand scale. I don't think. Somebody can prove me wrong if they want. But the fact that Loki uses telekinesis on an entire building and is able to lift it up, may be some sort of evidence that Loki's boyfriend is going to save them.
Nathan's here in spirit.
but I'm saying that like him moving an entire building may be proof that this is a dream because he is able to do more in a dream world than he is, or an illusion than he would be in real life. So just a theory.
It's a pretty good one.
It's a really fun one. It's a really fun one just to kind of mess with Sylvie. But I don't know how well that would go out, considering they did kind of bond like right before she fell asleep. You know?
Well, it could be another way of Loki proving that he is the Loki.
Superior. Yeah.
Yes, because that was a big thing going back and forth. You know, she's like, well, I can do, you know, yeah, because Loki's real boastful. You know, he's very prideful. He's like, yeah, even though a lot of shit he does goes south, but still.
Well, they had a lot of levy talk in this one, you know.
I don't know. I think that's a pretty cool theory. I would actually kind of like that if that was true. I would.
Yeah, now you got me thinking about it. It's like, damn it, that makes.
I dig that.
That makes the most sense.
Yeah, because then, you know, maybe at the beginning of the next episode, they just wake up and they're on the train, or they're somewhere else, or they're, you know, whatever. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Clay, you missed it, man. Did you watch Bad Batch?
I have not watched it. I'm about to go watch it. I was making. I checked YouTube to see if you guys were talking about it, and I was like, oh wait, nope, can't. Okay, now I can jump in.
Okay, cool. I was going to ask you your thoughts, but if you haven't watched it yet, let me know when you see it because it's Bad Batch.
All I know is that Katie came into the GOA chat saying that it pissed her off. So I was like, "Oh shit, let's see how it is." So yeah. I'm excited to jump into it right after this.
Yeah, I was telling Greg, she gave me one thought, so because I was like, "What is this?"
It was an interesting thought too. Liked it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, what else you want to talk about? You got any news? I know, Sarah, you wanted to mention Transformers, right? Stuff.
Yes, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. I know. I sent this to Nathan. I was like, "Did we talk about this?" But I think he said that it was mentioned. But now they actually
so ready.
It's actually got a date, June 24th, 2022. So we got another year.
I am so ready. You do not understand how ready I am for this.
Get in line. Get in line, youngster. Get in line.
Yes. Maximals, Predacons, and Terroricons join Transformers: Rise of the Beast in theaters June 24th, 2022. It seems so far away.
It does, but it's literally a year. Like, literally a year.
Year seems so far when you're looking forward to something like this, though.
Because just to kind of give a back, because Variety had a article on this, and I guess that's when they introduced it and just kind of chit-chatted about it. The fella that is in The Heights, Anthony Ramos. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I know Greg's not. You know, he's going to be in it. I'm not sure who the other chick is. She's in. I'm looking at Wikipedia right now because I'm like, I don't want to sit here and talk about, you know, say some craziness, because it's like I can read something, but I still need details in front of me, you know, because I'm old. So, but Peter Cullen will be voicing Optimus Prime because
he said he will do it until he dies. Basically.
Exactly, and that's the way it should be. I'm sorry, but he's gonna like live forever. They're just gonna take when he passes. They're just put his head on whatever, and he's gonna be looking like Christopher Pike in like the original series, and he's just gonna be rolling around. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, that is his character. Not many people can say that they have a character that is you for your whole life. You are the only one. Like, that's your character.
Not only that, but like they're like, because they did it with freaking Tarkin. He was long dead and he was in Rogue One. So like they could technically be like, hey, we're gonna give this money to his family after he's dead and gone, but we're still gonna use his voice.
Yeah, because they have enough dialogue. I'm sure they could piece together some more.
Pretty sure, yeah. They could put together whatever they wanted to. I think he said Optimus Prime has said all he's needed to say.
Like, I'm just like, I'm super excited. I can finally bring out my freaking Optimus Primal toy that I've had for years. Like
Why'd
I've
you
had
put it
that.
away?
I have a lot of my toys put away, unfortunately. Like I love my setup now because now you can see majority of my room. See all those boxes right there?
Yeah.
All those boxes.
Nice.
All of them are filled with art, toys, and just junk that I need to find room here.
Yeah.
So I need to bring out my Optimus Primal. He is quite possibly my favorite in the original freaking packaging. Oh, that looks so good.
Is that something you bought recently, or is that like?
This is actually, I found a toy store in Raleigh that has all kinds of.
Oh wait, no, that isn't the original.
This is the 25. This is 25.
Okay, gotcha.
25th
But
anniversary.
the point is, it's so similar to the original because I do have one of the new ones that goes along with the. I do have one of the new ones, and it's not the same by any means. It's not the same. But there's a toy store in Raleigh. It's called Chromag Toys. My childhood was in that store.
Nice.
I'm telling you, I saw all these original He-Mans. I saw this Cheetor. I said, I don't care if it's the 25th anniversary because, if I try to get one of the originals, oh my God, I'd probably pay out my rear end. But still.
Well, hey, for anybody just listening to audio, tell them what you just showed us because we just said how cool we're talking about how cool it was.
Oh, this is a Transformers Cheetor. It's actually, I think it's the 09 version because it's like the 25 years. But it's Cheetor. It's the maximum, my favorite.
What were they called back in the day? Beast machines, right? Or is that the
Beast machines?
I'm pretty sure it was Beast machines. Let me look it up real quick.
Is that what they start out? Then they.
I love when we're talking about something on this show and somebody has to get up to go get something to like, oh, I got to show you this. So
it says right here. So let me actually share screen.
I'll share the Tom Paris that I have. That's from Voyager.
So right here,
I'll share that one.
right here, it says Beast machines.
Gosh.
Look at that CGI.
I used to watch it every morning for school.
Look at that.
I used to watch it in the afternoons when I got home from school.
I love that it played in the morning here. I mean, it played in the afternoon, I'm sure, here too. It played in the morning here. I loved it. Like I was get ready, watch it, go to school. Oh my gosh, yes.
Watch Beast Wars, watch Digimon, watch Power Rangers.
It's so good. So good.
But seriously, just because it's supposed to be, it serves as a direct sequel to Bumblebee.
Yes, it's going to be set. So Bumblebee was set in 87. This one is going to be set in 94. Yeah.
That was a great year.
So do I need to see Bumblebee then?
Maybe.
Have you not seen Bumblebee?
So oh my gosh.
Greg, I can't talk to you right now.
I kind of fell off the Transformers franchise. I got tired of watching and listening.
Okay, so it was
Beast
Wars
Wars
and then Beast Machines.
Machines.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, Greg, I will say this. John Cena is in it.
Okay.
His part, I will be honest, like, you could have taken him out of the movie and it would have been the exact same movie. Unfortunately. Okay. Unfortunately, he does not have a big part in it, but you kind of like can see that like maybe if this franchise goes on, they could be like, oh, we're going to use him to come back as like the big reveal of like, oh, look who's back. They could pull one of those very easily with his character. But this is a brand new reboot. Like this is not connected to any of the other Transformers movies. So I don't know if you have seen the Transformers Netflix series, The War of Cybertron. I need to finish it.
I finished that one, but I finished the first chapter, but I haven't finished the second chapter because the third one, that's the one that has the Beast, like the Beast War. Was it Rise? No, it's oh shoot, what's that one called?
I haven't finished the second chapter. I don't know.
I know I haven't either.
Yeah.
But that one's supposed to come out soon.
I have only seen episode
Earthrise.
1.
No. Shit, what's it called?
Okay, so I'm looking at Netflix right now. There's 6 episodes of.
Yeah, each chapter has 6 episodes.
Okay, so which one is first? Is it Siege?
Yes,
first?
that's the one that's on Cybertron, right?
Yes. You
Okay,
have,
so it's Siege. Then after that, it is. Shoot, they don't even have it in order here.
Earthrise, Earth something. No.
Earthrise is the next, and then after that is the next one. So I will tell you this: that opening scene of War of Cybertron on Siege, you get that with a like movie production budget CG in Bumblebee. It looks beautiful.
Really?
Beautiful. Like it is what I originally wanted live action.
Kingdom's the third one.
Kingdom. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It is what I wanted from a Transformers movie. That beginning of Bumblebee. Cause it like dives deep into like 80s Transformers, not just like, hey, we're gonna make it modernized. Like it is like 80s put on screen.
There's a beetle. That's all I have to say.
There is a beetle, and
it's yellow.
Okay, well, I'm gonna check it out.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I will say, what's her name? Right? Christina? No.
Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld. That's who she is great as well. She really brings out the character of like Bumblebee in the movie. Really fun. It's a fun freaking Transformers movie. Not like this, like, hey, we need to make it serious and action packed. Like it is just
blow everything up.
Yeah, it is not a Michael Bay movie.
No, it's
it is a fun Transformers movie.
Okay.
As of right now, I'll actually look it up. Freaking let's see here. Bumblebee.
Nathan says hashtag bring on Dinobot.
I want Dinobots. As of right now, oh shoot.
Well,
it is not on any streaming service right now, but you can rent it anywhere for $2.99.
Oh, Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
is it worth the $2.99? You say
it is worth at least $3.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's well priced.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I am pretty sure I own it, but it is well worth the $3 for renting. If you want to buy it after that, that's totally up to you. But it is for sure just a great movie.
Yeah. It likely won't be a purchase for me. I mean, unless I just buy it and I'm like, oh my God, that was so great. But I doubt it. Yeah. I'll rent it.
Look,
your kids might like it too. I mean, mine liked it.
Next week, you're going to see Greg come in with a huge Bumblebee helmet.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm ready.
Bumblebee helmet?
Have you not seen those?
No.
I should have kept my mouth shut.
Hey, seriously though, I went and played laser tag with my family.
I saw that.
And of course I was, I hadn't played laser tag in years, but I was the number one guy in there. Talon was the number one on the list when I got done. But I am definitely wearing my Mandalorian mask next time. Because I can see really good out of it. And I will be the coolest effing kid there. Like, I cannot wait. I just found out that Mondays is $10. It's like 4 hours. Play as much as you want.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Real soon. I'm going up there with the Mandalorian mask. It's going to be so fun.
Take some youngins out. There you go.
Yeah. It's fun. Then I like paintball. Even though I do want to play paintball, too. It's fun.
Oof.
But yeah, sorry. That was a little rant.
Paintball might hurt a little bit more so than on laser tag.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. What else about this Transformers movie that I'm just like so super stoked about? Like I said, Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime. Of course, it says other ones to appear: Bumblebee, Mirage, RC. And let's see some of the Maximals: Optimus Primal, Rhinox, and Airraiser.
Nice.
There better be some Cheetor in there somewhere. He better pop up because I mean you can't have it without Cheetor.
Well, it just said some of them, right?
Yeah, some of them.
Okay.
So I mean, that's a pretty good list to start with. So that's going to be interesting because I think the whole premise is where Optimus Prime comes to Earth afterwards. Like I said, it's supposed to be the sequel to Bumblebee, but yeah, he's supposed to kind of learn his leadership. But then but I'm curious to see how they're going to introduce the Maximals. If you're saying you have these other, because even Optimus Primal, he's still still a Prime, or one of the Optimus. Yes, and Rat Trap. You know this. They go together. Which I'd love to see Black Arachnia too. Now, Waspinator, I can do without him. He's the one I'm like, he can get hit by a bus. It's fine with me.
Who wasn't? Shoot. Sarah, you're gonna be so mad at me. Who took the mantle of Prime in the Transformers movie? Do you remember? Because I want him to appear at least once in this reboot.
The Mantle of Prime. In which Transformers movie?
Yeah,
So this is the animated movie back in the 80s.
Oh.
Have you seen that movie at all?
A long time.
Probably when it came out.
Yeah.
I think I saw it like maybe a few years ago, and I was just like, "Oh my god, is this all we went crazy about?"
So
Wow.
I kind of don't want to like spoil it if y'all haven't if y'all want to rewatch it. Which, by the way, I've already started my rewatch of Thundercats. By the way,
I know. I need to get on that. I
do too.
I'm on episode 8 already. Shoot. So it's called Transformers the movie. There is I don't remember who it was. Oh man, I forgot Leonard Nimoy was Galvatron in that movie. Yes, Hot Rod. I need Hot Rod. Yes, I need Hot Rod in this new reboot of Transformers. He was my favorite because he was like I remember I got attached to him in the Transformers movie when it was first shown to me. That's how I was introduced to Transformers. I was introduced to Transformers as a toy, right. And then my uncle was like, "Do you know where these came from?" And then he showed me the movie, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" Hot Rod was one of those, like, he's the very tropey, like, "Hey, I'm cool." Not the fact that like I'm better than everybody, but like you would have never seen him as a leader, and then all of a sudden, like, he gets the mantle of Prime near the end of the movie. Like, it was a twist, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love this character."
Yeah.
But yeah, holy crap, this movie was stacked full of talent back in the day. But
Transformers were huge.
Oh yeah,
huge back then. I can't remember which one it was, but that was my oldest memory of Transformers is a transforming car that I had, and to this day, it's the coolest Transformer I've ever seen, toy wise. That could go completely from vehicle, like whatever shape it was, to Transformer. Like, it was just absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe how cool it was. Like, you could look at it as a car, and it looked like a car.
Yeah,
like, it didn't look like something. Not, nowadays it's just the thing seems so weird. But then again, I haven't bought a Transformers toy in quite some time, so I can't really say that.
Well, I remember back in the day. So back in the day, when you would open a Transformers toy, you would get the folded up slip of paper that it could fit in the palm of your hand, and then you start folding it, and it would
like
come out like this giant piece of paper, and it would show you step by step, right? Nowadays, and like you said, I too have not bought a Transformers toy in a very long time. I feel like that doesn't happen anymore. I feel like, hey, it is a 6 turns, and you have your Autobot. You have your.
What you do is you get on your phone and you download the app for the store they provide for you with the paper, and you hit the button on the app, and it transforms it through Wi-Fi.
Jesus.
My son is an absolute master at this. He has a Grimlock in his room, and it's one that is pretty. It's pretty much like one of the newer ones, but. And he's got a Megatron, and he's got a ton of them.
But do they have like intricate instructions or no?
I don't think it's it's more of like a piece of paper like this now. So it's not like the little teeny tiny ones.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty they're still pretty intricate. It's still like if you know yeah, because when he was younger he snapped off a couple of heads of I think oh shoot. One of the ones that Brian had, he like just totally decimated it. Like we had
oh no.
Yeah, he had a smaller bumblebee, and that thing's like in 1,000 pieces. So yeah,
that's a bummer.
Yeah, so, but I mean, I still have the big bumblebee from the first movie. We've had that one. That was long before the boy came along. So, so we bought plenty of Transformers over the years.
Makes me want to go buy one. It really does. Yeah. I might go do that.
Nathan
says, let's get Inferno and Rise of the Beast. I need him doing Shakespeare and think of Magnetron as his Queen of the Ant Hive.
What?
I will say I will say this. I feel like Nathan is on his own little cloud nine over here with Transformers. I will say this. There is more than just like giant robots fighting when it comes to Transformers.
Was it more than meets the eye?
Yes.
Ooh,
I was gonna say it, but I really wanted to try to avoid it.
I'll do the cliches. That's fine.
Because just recently, Transformers went all the way back to issue 1 in comics. I want to say like 3 years ago. And they hadn't done it in years. They were kind of like the legacy flagship for IDW. And they were in like the 300s or 400s. I can't remember. But they went back to issue 1 and it is an intricate story about like the deceit and like the backstabbing of the Decepticons on Cybertron. Like it is more than just like, hey, I hate you and you hate me. We're big robots. Let's fight. Let's make a lot of noise.
Enemies. We're just enemies for no apparent reason. It is what it is.
Yeah. Shut up, Nathan. You're in issue number 1. But I want this reboot to kind of touch on that, not just be like, hey, we're toys that are now live action, you know? Because I mean, let's be completely honest. Most of these franchises, Marvel included, DC included, the movie's a giant advertisement for their merchandise. And I completely understand that with Transformers. Hasbro is a monster when it comes to advertisements, and they're a Hasbro is just a monster in the toy industry altogether. So they don't necessarily need it, but I just hope that with this new reboot with Transformers and this eventual reboot with Power Rangers, that with it comes really good stories, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
No, I agree. I mean,
I want to ask you, have you guys looked at it's on Netflix, it's a series that says The Toys That Made Us?
Yes.
No.
Have you checked that out?
Greg, I 100% recommend. Even on the toys that
They got the Ninja Turtles, they got Power Rangers, My Little Pony.
Yes.
That's just season 3.
even on toys that you don't think you would want to learn the history of, the history of the Barbie, holy shit.
Isn't that crazy?
It's interesting. Yeah. I bet it's really interesting.
And they got Star Wars.
So the Star Wars one is quite possibly my favorite. There's a collector in Star Wars that was on that documentary series, and you get to see his house, and literally he has an entirely separate warehouse full of Star Wars toys, and it is legitimately organized to look like a freaking retail store. It is absolutely insane.
Huh. Yeah, definitely check that out. It's on Netflix.
I think the first episode, I think, is either Star Wars, and then it goes to Barbie, then G.I. Joe, I think, something like that.
He-Man, then G.I. Joe.
He-Man, and then G.I. Joe.
He-Man was really interesting.
Well,
the Power Ranger one was really interesting.
It's so good. It is really so good because you get into the aspect of, like, especially Star Wars, is like, hey, this is like we have to get into this toy business. How do we do that? And like they start creating things, and same thing with He-Man. They started creating things before there was a story for it in the show. So like they then had to base the show off the toys at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. There was influence of toys making content for shows, which should be the
80s. I mean, that's how it worked. I mean, it was all about the merchandising. It was all about the toys.
Oh yeah, and that's
then
another thing.
Everything into it.
That's another thing, Greg. So you're somebody that is very much like, hey, I remember that when I was a kid. In these episodes, they legit take advertisements and takes commercials and places them in the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It is a trip.
Huh.
It is a trip. Like the Star Wars commercials of like, hey, if you send this, you'll get, X, Y, and Z toys from like it was the black case with like all 9 or 12 toys of like Obi-Wan and Boba Fett and all of this stuff.
Huh, that's crazy.
All the pre-orders.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
birth
pretty
of
cool.
the pre-orders.
That's pretty cool. History. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
So
The
we'll
toys
have
that
to
made
talk about it
us.
on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't really got anything else. Sorry, actually just lost a piece of my tooth while we were talking. Just fell out of my mouth. That's why I was like, yeah. So I'm kind of reacting to that right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it never happened before, but it's kind of crazy. So, yeah, I got nothing else I was going to talk about tonight. Did you have anything else?
That's a way to end the podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
all right.
so happened at the end.
Note.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna go figure this out here in a few minutes. Well, all right, let's go ahead and get out of here then. Short show tonight, but not a ton to talk about. So, Clay, where can they find you, buddy?
Yeah, you can always find me at Fanboy Clay on Twitter. I am very active. Just shoot me a message. We can talk about Star Wars, Power Rangers,
Mortal
any
Kombat.
kind. Yeah. Oh God, no. No. I mean, sure. If you want to talk the video game, we can talk the video game. We're not going to talk the movie, I promise. But yeah, just shoot me a message. You can always watch me at DC Alliance every Monday night. We go live. And yeah, in my bio on Twitter is the link to all of my shows.
Cool deal. Y'all check it out. Bunch of great stuff. Sarah, where can they find you at?
Pretty much just Twitter. I mean, that's it. I'll be quiet. Sorry, dogs. You gotta do this right now. No, I'm at My Little Kitten. And I just kind of hang out here on Friday nights. And that's about it. So I'm kind of low key these days, but sometimes I'll pop up on other podcasts just to kind of fill in and just chit chat about some things that we talk about here, which is really, really fun.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's about it.
Y'all be sure to check it out. And you can find me at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter. It's my only form of social media. Really the only way to get a hold of me unless you got my number. Here every Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube's, and every now and again I'm C3 Panthers podcast every Tuesday. So come check us out. We're here every Friday. Come check us out, hang out with us. But the show drops Monday. It's supposed to drop Monday morning unless I forget to do it, which usually I do until Nathan reminds me. So it'll drop sometime Monday, hopefully Monday mornings. But until next week, I guess y'all keep pounding.
Bye, guys.
See you.